What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Jose Talk Sports, where I share my take on all news surrounding the San Francisco 49ers. And if you're a fan of the 49ers like I am, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content revolving San Francisco. With today being August 16th, or 8/16, as a tribute to Steve Young and Joe Montana, I felt it was appropriate to upload a quick update on everyone's favorite football team, the San Francisco 49ers. You see, since being drafted at number 3 in the 2021 NFL Draft, there has been so much intrigue surrounding Trey Lance. How will the team's offense operate moving forward? Will they be better off with Lance than they were with Garoppolo? And what will they do if all else fails? Although we won't get the answers to those questions just quite yet, we did, however, get to see Trey Lance play against the Green Bay Packers last Friday in the first week of the preseason. After the Niners defense forced a quick 3-and-out, Lance and company finally took to the field. Lance would scramble for a 7-yard gain as he would complete passes to Ray McLeod and Ross Dwelley, but that drive would have ultimately resulted in a 50-yard field goal by Robbie Gould. One concern that I've always maintained regarding this franchise is their secondary, as they have struggled to contain the aerial attack of the opposition. Following that field goal, they allowed a 12-yard completion, a 23-yard completion, and finally a 33-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs. However, following that Green Bay touchdown, San Francisco would provide the highlight of the night and the main talking point of the contest, as Trey Lance would suffer a 4-yard loss after a sack, but would then complete a 5-yard pass to Trey Sermon, and finally that 76-yard bomb to third-round pick Danny Gray. Now see, with Danny Gray that he brings to the offense, it's very interesting. He brings this level of speed that we haven't had in quite some time, although we have had, Brandon Ayuk. I think having an offense with a guy like Brandon Ayuk, Danny Gray, Deebo Samuel, then you bring into guys like George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, and then you think about the blocking that they can provide with Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk and company. I think that this offense is going to be running on all cylinders. I feel like we're finally going to find that groove that we had in 2019 when we made the run at the Super Bowl. Now, although, but the quarterback's going to be different. Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo are not the same being, they're not the same play style. I think this works in our favor because it's going to be able to open up the field more, where Trey Lance is able to not only use his feet, but use his arm. As we saw with the 76-yard touchdown pass, his ability to open up the field with his arm, it isn't spoken about enough. I do think there's a lot of potential with this offense, but I do think the defense as well is carrying their end of the bargain. And it's very crucial when you want to win a championship. You have to have both sides of the ball, doing their job and carrying their end of the deal. Following that touchdown, there was an interception by McCray Ball, who led to a 39-yard touchdown pass from Nate Sudfeld to Ray McLeod. And on top of that, our 5th-round pick, Samuel Womack, with 2 picks of his own. Ultimately, the game, would come in our favor. San Francisco would win 28-21. But there were a lot of key parts that I thought were positives coming out of this game. I like the poise that our offense was operating on. Our defense looks terrific. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. I feel like our rotation that we have at the defensive line is still as stout as ever, and most of our guys didn't even play. It was a lot of these guys that are trying to earn their spot, try to earn their position onto the team. I think this team has a lot of potential. I look forward to what they're able to achieve. But on top of that, that wasn't the only news that we had surrounding the 49ers over the weekend, as the NFL has begun to release its top 100 lists of 2021. A lot of these lists are always fun. It's interesting to see what other players and other athletes think of their peers, because it is a voting process that's taken place by the NFL players. And the San Francisco 49ers so far have 2 players on the top 100 lists. Although the list so far has gone from 100 to 51, we're halfway done with the list. They maintain 2 athletes from their team. At number 100, we have Kyle Juszczyk, who is our fullback. He is I don't want to say underappreciated, but I don't feel like he gets enough credit from the league. The fullback position itself has begun to deteriorate in terms of its importance and its significance. Not a lot of folks use the fullback position to their advantage, but with a guy like Kyle Juszczyk, his ability to block for our run game as well as the passing game, and there are times where he can catch the ball, he can run the ball. I feel like he's an invaluable asset to our offense, a leader among leaders, if you will. And definitely for a guy last year who only had 1 rushing touchdown and 1 receiving touchdown, his presence is felt. You feel the confidence and the strength of Kyle Juszczyk when he's on the field. I can think back to a couple of years where he stiffed arm a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He makes sure to have his presence felt by the opposition. Since acquiring him in 2017 from the Baltimore Ravens, he has been one of my favorite members of this roster. I feel like, again, another invaluable member of the team, someone that I think is a leader among leaders, and I'm glad he finally got the respect that he deserved by making it to that top 100 list, which wasn't without controversy because the list itself is pointed towards athletes who are currently in the league. So when Tom Brady retired, Juszczyk bumped up to 100, but then Tom Brady comes back out of retirement, therefore bumping him to 101. But then Gronkowski retires, who would move Kyle Juszczyk back into the top 100. So a lot of movement there, in terms of the top 100 list. But another guy that made it at number 96 was Jimmy Ward, our safety, who has been with the team since 2014. It looks like he might miss week 1 due to a hamstring injury that Kyle Shanahan is not too optimistic about. He's saying it looks not too good, but hopefully he'll be able to turn that around and come into the season. I know desperately we're going to be needing him, especially because of my concerns with the secondary. Again, another leader on the team, a guy that's been there for nearly 10 years. I look forward to what he can produce this year. After last year, he had 2 interceptions and a touchdown. Again, another leader on the team, so I'm hoping he's able to bounce back soon and come back 100%. And those are only 2 San Francisco 49ers that have made the list so far. I do think there's going to be a total of 7 49ers on this top 100 list, with the guys like Fred Warner, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa. I do think those are going to be names we're going to be seeing on this list as well, as they are premier athletes of the league and definitely faces of the franchise going forward for the San Francisco 49ers. But that list will be coming out later this week. I will do a video on that, recapping my opinions to see exactly where they place and how they are placed on the list. But until then, as the San Francisco 49ers prepare for the Minnesota Vikings, we take another step closer to the regular season in hopes of recapturing the Lombardi Trophy that has eluded us for too long. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more 49ers content. Also, be sure to check out my podcast, 2 Beans in a Pod, where my brother Jared and I discuss our feelings about the Niners and how we think they will fare this upcoming season. As always, my name is Jose, and this has been Jose Talks Sports, and I will see you in the next video.